pure love stories.
Yeah.
Like this is a love story, but it has much deeper meanings. Yeah. It has deeper connections. So I think from that perspective, it may by word of mouth, if people feel, nahi yaar, achhi film hai, yaar dekho.
To try different things. I'll be selfish and say this and not say this, that this is for this and that, but for myself. I want to try different things and I want to do a lot of stuff.
He is the hero, and he's a heroic character, not in a conventional Bollywood filmy sense that the hero beats up the bad guys and villains go flying or whatever. Yeah. It's a very beautiful kind of heroism.
ये देश प्रणाम, सत श्री अकाल और सलाम से चलेगा, इंतकाम से नहीं चलेगा. ये बात सुनने में जितनी उम्दा लगती है ना, उससे कहीं ज़्यादा महत्वपूर्ण भी है. Hi everyone, this is Kunal Kothari. You're watching me on IWMBuzz. और ये इस तरह की और बहुत सारी उम्दा बातें अगली फिल्म इन गलियों में काफ़ी हंसते हंसते सिखा देती है. एंड बोलने वाले बंदे ही मेरे साथ बैठे हैं, द वन एंड ओनली जावेद जाफरी, joined by the wonderful young guns Avantika Dassani and Vivaan Shah. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay.
Fantastic. So I'll start right away. The idea of small town, humor, message, innocence. It's done several times. Of course, not remotely in this area, which in Galiyon Mein is dabbling with. लेकिन मजेदार बात यह है कि more often than not, it's been good. There is a higher success rate in the best way possible. But when you as actors, इस तरह की कहानियाँ आपके पास आती है, how do you have that conviction apart from just reading the script? As actors, you've done so much. तो एक तरह की thought process होती है. How do you have that conviction this will still somehow stand out and people, because layman के लिए वो ridicule कर सकते हैं कि हाँ ये तो वैसे ही है. But how do you have that conviction that no, this will have that connect and not really get lost in that lot?
Today, we don't know where the cinema audience is heading as such. Because the business model or whatever you call it, it's like a seesaw. We don't really know, and the point is, yes, this film has a wonderful message. It is saying something very beautiful. It is, and the most, you see, I think the potency of this film is it's speaking against hate.
Yeah.
And which is very abundant today. और आप जहाँ देखें बहुत इतना फैला हुआ है ये नफरत का एक माहौल जो बना हुआ है. मैं रीज़न तो नहीं जाऊँगा क्या है, बट वो है एक किसी वजह से us them वगैरह. तो ये उससे डील करता है और ये बहुत महत्व रखती है ये फिल्म, क्योंकि रेलेवेंट है आज के टाइम्स के साथ. आपने कहा कि स्मॉल टाउन फिल्म है, बना बर्फी क्या थी वो, तो आपकी
बहुत सारी,
those are pure love stories.
Yeah.
Like this is a love story, but it has much deeper meanings. Yeah. It has deeper connections. So I think from that perspective, it may by word of mouth, if people feel, nahi yaar, achhi film hai, yaar dekho. It's not like a audio visual spectacle where people go into cinemas to see some RRR and one of those push bars, big. It's not that. But I feel somewhere, I don't know, I can only request and people that it's important to see these kind of films and encourage them so that people in the future will say, let's make, and see, there is an economy involved.
Correct.
The economics of film. So if you don't recover your money, then people are not like, अरे यार अब क्या बनाए, कुछ पैसे नहीं बनते तो छोड़ो यार, हम वो बनाते हैं जो लोग देखते हैं. So I think it's important that people look at this film with a different lens and say, nahi, of course it should be entertaining. I'm not saying it's a crap film or a boring film. No, it's an entertaining film. Actually, I sat through this and I really just flew by. It was great fun.
Yeah.
It said a lot of things. And I was entertained. So at the end of the day, it's about entertainment, and it entertains you, but also gives you a very lovely message.
Super.
How to, So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Please.
Writer Vivaan of.
Yes, of course. Please add.
No, absolutely. That it's a very interesting question. Is that what distinguishes this film from other small town stories? Because it's become such a lovely subgenre in itself. There's so many wonderful. We've had recently a spate of small town films, and I think it's very important that the small town voices and the stories are coming out, because for the longest time we weren't in films, we didn't have small town stories. So it's a wonderful progression. Evolution of Indian cinema is really wonderful that these stories are being told. I think what distinguishes our film from the others is that this film in a sense takes the form of a fable or a parable, and you could say that there's a moral to the story, but not in a preachy kind of way.
Right.
And that is, I think, one of the most beautiful, which is exemplified so beautifully by Jaaved sir's character Mirza, which I won't give away. But I think the character of Mirza really, I think, in a sense, represents what is unique and special.
Which is the real India.
Is the real India, exactly.
Mirza represents the real India which is in Galiyon Mein, on the streets. The real India which wants to love, which wants to stay together in harmony and respect each other. That's what Mirza represents. And sorry.
Yeah, no, exactly. That is, and in our own storytelling tradition, that has always been a very important thing, to have that symbol and to have the pillar of strength which Mirza is. That he is the hero, and he's a heroic character, not in a conventional Bollywood filmy sense that the hero beats up the bad guys and villains go flying or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a very beautiful kind of heroism, and especially when in Jaaved sir's performance, the heroism of Mirza, the strength of that character, how he stands up to injustice. I won't give too much away, but I think there's many interesting qualities to the film which you'll have to watch to find out what makes it different from others of the similar sort.
Super. Avantika.
So you asked what we as actors, why we choose something
Correct.
like this. The thing is, for me, I'm new. I've barely done a lot of work for me to turn around and say, this has been done or that's been done. For me, everything is a new experience. And what I did with Mithya was a starkly different character, starkly different space. And I was really excited to explore versatility as an actor and a very different genre, a very different kind of character that I think would relate to a large percentage of the audience as well. And also gave me, more than anything, gave me the opportunity. I'm greedy, I'm hungry as an actor to have more experiences, to try different things. I'll be selfish and say this and not say this, that this is for this and that, but for myself. I want to try different things and I want to do a lot of stuff.
And to challenge oneself as an actor.
Challenge myself constantly, And I thought this would be such a challenge after that.
Super.
This would be so exciting for me to try.
Right.
And hopefully do somewhat right.
Right.
I can't say more than that, but yeah, hopefully, get it.
And I learned so much from her process, to see her, to witness her transformation that Avantika did. The hard work that she put, the meticulousness in her love space, she would work on.
Yeah.
And it was truly inspiring. It was truly inspiring.
For her, this is the first like a film feature.
Yeah, exactly. Technically debut.
Yes. And to choose such a character is guts, and it shows your inclination as an actor, which direction you want to go to.
Right.
She could easily have played a very glam girl,
Yeah.
and what a lot of these people who are being launched that wear these fancy clothes and fancy
correct.
hair and makeup and have this song and dance number, but she didn't.
Yeah.
And
that's very
it's
brave
not
of her.
it's not a easy character to play, because there's a lot of colloquial language she had to work on it, even body language wise. So give a lot of credit.
Very courageous choice, Avantika. That's what. It's a very
The
courageous
day's been
choice.
made, I guess.
Completely. Guys, we can back up. Everything has been said that needs to be said.
Awesome. But I'll come back to you, Avantika, because I had a wonderful chat with you when we were doing Mithya, chapter 2 interviews. And I remembered it so distinctly, and I sort of went back to it as well. Because I asked you about, of course, people, you mentioned that, people were even questioning you that why are you debuting with OTT? Back then, of course, right? And then you mentioned that, you obviously respect the fact that you have a lineage and plus you have a brother who's doing, but that doesn't transpire to people putting their money on you.
Yeah.
You exactly, verbatim like that.
Yeah,
And here you are, now, how you have a theatrical release. People have put money on you, people are, counting on you. But so how much of that plays a factor? Because now the numbers are involved for everyone to know. Numbers are involved there also, but that's not for everyone to know.
Yeah.
So does that play a factor in any way for you?
No, honestly, no, I don't think yet, because again, for me, it's still my first film, it's still an opportunity. Again, my job is to go on set and do a good job. For me, the idea is that my director is happy with the scene that I've done. That my co-actors feel that I'm giving them enough for them to also perform and feel like, oh, we're happy to be doing this scene with her. For my DOP to look at the camera and be like, I'm happy with the shot I got, that's my job. That's where my work starts and for now ends. Numbers and all of that, they are not in my hands. There's nothing that I can do about it. It's too soon for me to like, jump into that and have that as my thought process. I also think that right now, if I have that thought process, it'll be very disheartening in a lot of ways, and it'll also decide, like he said, it's an unconventional choice for me to be making even with this to start off with. These are not the things, this is a small film with a lot of heart in it, right? But it's not something that I'm turning around and thinking this is going to do like, 100 crore club kind of a thing. That's not what this is about. And I have not thought about it that way.
Awesome.
And even see, I'll tell you honestly, there are different kind of people in this industry. There are people who want to be stars, where there are numbers involved. There are people who love the craft and who want to be actors and involve themselves in good scripts and enjoy themselves with the craft. So I think this lot right now we are talking, I'm the same. So from like numbers, fair enough. The flop ho gayi, nahi chali, it doesn't matter. I did my job and people say, nahi, isne kaam acha kiya tha.
That's important. You mentioned that as well. That's true.
That's it. इसने काम अच्छा किया था. और क्या चाहिए तुमको एक्टर के लिए? अब नहीं चली, क्या नहीं चली, क्यों नहीं चली? That's a different matter.
True.
आपने अपना काम सही किया कि नहीं, वो देखना है आपको.
And there's so many people involved, right, in a project, and the film is not an actor. There's an actor, there's a director, there's a screenwriter, there's DOP, there's art. There's so many things that put that thing together. So a lot of times the reason why something works or doesn't work is not on one person. I really don't believe that. I feel success and failure is everybody's at that point of time.
Fair.
And putting that pressure on oneself, it's again very disheartening thing to do. And also something that make you, and also something that will make you fly unnecessarily if suddenly you're having these hits and turning around and being like, oh, I'm the reason.
Yeah, of course not.
No, you're not.
Right. Super. No, agreed. Fair. Vivaan, coming to you, it's also fascinating. Over a decade for you as well, in fact, 15 years, pretty much so. And again, a very fascinating filmography. Work comes here. There's obviously a topsy-turvy period. Everybody goes through that. It's nothing to do with one person per se. But how much do you look back at things and you feel that? Do you feel content about the kind of work that you've managed to be a part of so far? Because as actors, that, as you mentioned, we're talking about craft and everything. That's probably the most important thing. You need to feel content about it, right? So do you feel content, or do you still feel, that you're still underutilized? And of course, there's a lot more, we can always explore and people can have a look at it. But what is the kind of, trajectory that your mind goes through?
It's a very interesting question. It's a very gambhir question, also very profound. No, it's something, of course, as you can imagine, I would have thought about a lot in the years. I think one of the big takeaways that I've had is that the difficult experiences that I've had, the unhappy ones, have in a way been quite meaningful. They've taught me something, they've illuminated something. Although while they were happening, I was in misery and that sort of thing. But now when I think back about it in a more reflective sense, they in a sense shaped me, and they were meaningful in some way.
Right.
The hardship was meaningful. I guess the sense of, sometimes the sense of, wouldn't say, yes, sometimes one does feel as if one is perhaps not doing so well or whatever, one feels all sorts of emotions. It's a whirlwind. Our profession is a whirlwind of emotions, ups and downs, success, failure. You feel all sorts of things. But in my case, I've always felt that the tougher experiences, the unhappier ones, have illuminated something for me and have taught me something and have been meaningful in a strange way. And I'm very happy, I'm grateful that I've been employed over the years, whatever kind of work that I've been employed, I've been able to earn an income. And that is a real blessing. That is truly a blessing.
Fabulous. And of course, Jaaved sir, I'll pirouette a little bit from, the film thing, because I love the, I don't know, I'm sure you're pretty much aware about it, but there's a reel of yours that went viral a while ago, not right now, quite a while ago. I think it was from the show The Tribe, you're talking, and it is such a lovely thing, talking about, aajkal har Tom, Dick and Harry influencer ban jata hai. And that is so true, and that sort of, goes with your character in the film as well, right? It is fascinating. It's just perfectly fitting. My question to you is, sir, that how much, because that's you, that's Jaaved Jaaferi talking. That's not a character, saying and having a belief. And as I mentioned, it's true to a large extent. But how much do you feel that has impacted, the current generation and their viewing experiences and their expectations from what they want to see?
So yeah, that this whole short-term kind of thing, the Gajini effect. भूल गया अभी, क्या देखा था? So it is, sometimes I ask my younger son, I said, can you sit and watch a sunset for 15 minutes? Wow. And it's difficult. Because especially the Gen Z who have grown up with a screen, whether it's a phone, a laptop or a television, they have 24 frames per second or 25 or 30 frames per second, which is see, your brain is interpreting it as one frame, but technically it is 30 frames. So there's a speed which is, you're constantly seeing that.
True.
So real life is not 24 frames per second, no. So the whole thing is that your mind gets processed and used to watching 24, 30 frames per second. And you get restless. And it's like 2-minute Maggi noodles. It's like, I want now. There's no, the whole patience of growing and developing, the whole thing. That process is all shortcuts. It's the what we call instant gratification. वो वाला चक्कर है कि अभी पहले हमारे यहाँ था कि आप असिस्टेंट बनोगे, क्लैप बोर्ड करोगे, ये साफ करोगे, वहाँ से प्रोग्रेस करके you'll become first assistant, second assistant, then you'll become a director. It'll take you probably 3, 4, 5, 6 years, maybe 10.
Yeah.
अभी तो मतलब आके सीधा बोला डायरेक्ट करने का. So it's that instant gratification. I think viewing wise, how it impacts is they want value systems again. Like we grew up with certain value systems. It's business. It's because the internet has become a world in its own, और वो पूरी दुनिया एक तरह से सिमट गई है. तो अमेरिका का बच्चा वो चाइना से आइडेंटिफाई करेगा, अरुणाचल का बच्चा, because they all speaking a very similar language. वो कपड़े भी similar पहन रहे हैं. वो एक, I won't say it's the Americanization, it's the westernization. I won't say it's because that's what has dominated. And everybody wants to speak that language and wear those kind of clothes and eat that kind of food. And that's what's happened.
Exactly.
And the West has somehow permeated into all cultures. And everybody wants to be, and that's become aspirational. And so the older values where we say in India, "Arey nahi yaar, ye to old fashioned hai, it doesn't work, man. This is the new, tweaking." Yes, new word. My son, Baba, why are you tweaking?
Acha, he said that.
No, yeah. So you tell my mother, my wife sometimes, Mama, why are you tweaking? So I mean,
took a while.
Yeah, so they're tweaking care.
There's a new vocabulary now.
So that can be a different conversation. The vocabulary, new vocabulary is just...
No, but again, because that is the vocabulary which is uniting these kids from around the world.
Exactly.
Because they will not speak Hindi, English. ये एक ज़बान है भाई, ठीक है, हम ये बोलते हैं. So I feel there is somewhere you have to find an individuality of your own, where you can balance your culture. See, I'm not saying culture is like, wow, it's not that you have to stick, but there are certain things which morality attached to it, the value systems attached to it. I think they're important for humanity to remain balanced.
Right.
These are the things which keep you balanced, which is morality, humanity, values. So these are important to exist in this world. It can't be very cutthroat, clinical kind of a thing. So I feel today's children, yes, it's important that they keep their ground and keep their connect. And it's not like, oh, progress is technical. Morality progress क्या होती है? Values तो values है ना बहुत. जो गलत है वो गलत है, जो सही है वो सही है. Technologically progress है आपका कि भाई आप अभी spaceship में चले गए, right from cycle. That's fine, but it has to be rooted. Your foundation is based on your morality and your value systems. Then you use technology. Otherwise, the technology uses you, and then without morality, technology is very dangerous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and that is just so fitting because we talk about morality, we talk about the influence and everything, and then we have a rooted story to tell. It is just perfectly fitting. Thank you so much, guys. I obviously wish this could go on and on forever. I love talking to and having such amazing insights. But thank you so much for your time. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Everything you've lined up.
Yeah, I hope people watch this. And everybody says that, but and I'm genuinely saying this, you know, I'm in my career of like 40 years, there are very few films which I feel like this should be watched. It's a good film. It has good intentions.
Yeah.
It is saying something very lovely and beautiful and about, you know, trying to bring a people together. I think it's important that, and it's a good film.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's not that, oh, it's some preachy
It's a message
lecturing
there,
thing. It's a fun film.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you
guys.
so much. This is a wonderful talk.
Thank
Wonderful
you.
discussion.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.